In today's video, I'm going to show you how I balance ambient guitars against really modern punchy metal drums. And for this scenario, the drum kit sound is predominantly coming from the EZdrummer 3 Bright Room preset, which is a standard kit. And the guitars are the Tone Forge Jeff Loomis. So let's get into it. So in this video, we're going to check how to balance these ambient instruments in context with the drums and in context with the guitars, and see what we can do to them in terms of sound design to make them sound cool. In this scenario, for the drum sound, the main snare sound, I've used this EZdrummer 3 Bright Room. That's just the main snare, it has samples on it. And then the Jeff Loomis Tone Forge by JST Tones for the guitar sound. Just a preset and then a bit of tweaking on some of these channels. I think it was just on the presence, but that's what we have going on. So I'm going to play the section with the ambient part that's coming in, and we're just going to kind of loop it and see what that sounds like. So why my screen is flickering like this. Weird. So we're just going to take a look at the ambient guitars. So it's basically this one. And this song is written with JST, I always forget the pack name, Architects of Gent. So the DIs are real. I've just picked and choose riffs and kind of built everything together into a song. That's what it's intended for. And then we're going to take a look at the ambience and see what we can do to make them fit nicely. So the ambience are already processed. I didn't design these because I was more focused on the rhythmic parts, and I was fine just to use the ambience as they were. But as I said, we can see what we can do to make them a bit more exciting in the mix. So I'm just going to loop it and kind of experiment as I go. So first I'll send it to the bus. So all these ambient guitars are going to this bus, and then I'm going to send this to the instrumental bus, which has the FG Grey on it. Same settings as always. This one a 3 ratio, not so aggressive. And then we have some stuff on the master bus. This is already like a 80% mix or so, maybe a bit more. But yeah, I'm just going to see what I can bring to the foreground. So you can see there's the EQ's already telling that there's some pokey stuff happening here, and I can hear it as well. So I just want to tame that back. See, so when I pull it down, it kind of just gets into balance with the snare, so it's not like overtaking it. It's still causing the snare, all that build up is becoming a bit pokey, so I'm just going to see if maybe after that EQ move, adding something like a multi-band compressor, just to, why do I lose this all the time? Just to control those upper mid frequencies. And that took care of it. They don't sound too dulled out or anything like that. It's just like compressing those peaks down so that it doesn't, so when the snare hits, those peaks aren't accumulating with like the three 3 to 2K area of the snare, and then you get this like ear-piercing sound. So these two moves kind of like push those ambience to the back, so that the drums, because I want the drums to be more dominant, because like if there's a vocal in there, then the vocal will and the drums will kind of be the highlight of that part, and then the ambient guitars will just be like a filler, so just adding into the space so that there's more three-dimensional depth in that part. So we're not looking to like, sorry, I nearly dropped this thing. We're not looking to put the ambient guitars like in the forefront. They're just for texture. It's not for like it's not to make the part dominant. So I'll switch these two off, these two moves, and then you'll hear how the snare kind of gets pushed to the back when I switch them off. So I'm going to turn them off when we leave it on, and then turn it off. You see how the drums come more to the front, and that's the intention that I want to do with these, is not to push them too far up front. Maybe a bit of compression, we'll see. That's fine. Now what I want to do is do a bit of sound design and create something like an effects channel with something on it, some kind of modulation, just to give it something interesting. And we can automate that up and down within the song so it doesn't play like in the chorus or something like that. So we'll start with something like maybe
a few moments later. More moments later.
Let's try a chorus first. We'll just say guitar effects, and then we'll EQ this before the plugin. So just 400 and 7,000. Okay, so let's take the, my brain is foggy today, the ambient, set it to the guitar effects, which we have over here, and then we have the EQ and the pseudo chorus, and let's see what it sounds like. So that's just something like a bit ghosty like, and you know, just giving it a bit of texture. Okay. So you see that little move just like adds a little bit of characteristic to it. Just some kind of more three-dimensional body so that, you know, it sounds more interesting, and the listener won't exactly know what it is they're liking or why it is that they like that part. They won't technically know what it is, but when you add things in sound design like this effect, it gives it that ear candy that people kind of find these parts interesting. And that's what also makes a lot of mixes, I think, a lot of modern mixes today, is those little touches of effects and sound design here on the drums, or maybe on the ambience, or a little verb on the guitar. You know, people won't know what it is that they're liking, but something is in there, and these additives create that that sort of sonic, that pleasing sonic characteristic. So let's see if you can pull this to the middle of the screen. So on and off. So yeah, it just fills it up a little bit. So we might push it back, the effect back, just with the de-esser, just so that it will. So I'll put the de-esser on and off. Just a bit. So that creates quite a nice sound. And then with the drums you get a really nice sound design. So yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I might do some other stuff to it, maybe add some saturation. We can see it's see if we add a bit of saturation, which kind of pushes the mids of it a bit. See. So it was still a little bit too pokey here and there. Just the small moves, 1.39, 1 point, it's really fucking OCD, shit. Yeah, small little moves. So I'll show you what. We'll push the limiter a bit just to get some nice so we can take a listen to what this sounds like after as the next part comes in, which sounds quite cool too. So this is the main snare tone. The kicks are, I'm using this kick and this snare. Doesn't sound too great on its own, it's pretty nice, but and then like at the beginning I said I'm using the Jeff Loomis for the rhythm guitars because they seem to work, but I'm also doing this again, shaping the DI before it hits the amp with DI match. This can clean it up quite nicely, and then I'm using the Omega cab on the 6L6 tube. I think that's what it is, and then taking out some of the I think I explained that. I'll keep opening that. So let's take a listen. So that drum sound, I love it. It sounds really cool. It sounds expensive, and it has that sort of punch to it. And then the ambient guitars sit very nicely. So yeah, this was just a short video to explain some things with ambience, and there's a million ways to skin a cat. So you can do it so many different ways, because again, this is subjective and how you want to hear things. Yeah, I can also do another video on this particular drum tone, which I actually really like. This kit it's a standard kit from Easy Drum. I mean, dead stock standard, but when you manipulate it the right way, you can get such a sick sound out of it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. If you would like to leave a comment, please do. If you want to subscribe, you're also more than welcome to do that. And see you in the next one. Cheers.